You're welcome. I'll be speaking on corporate fraud investigations. My name is Akinwale Akindiya. Fraud is inherent in many organizations, and research has shown that businesses all over the world they lose up to 5% of their revenue to corporate fraud annually. What is fraud? It's an intentional perversion of truth in order to induce another to part with something of value or to surrender legal rights. So the fraudster intentionally perverts the truth to make the victim to suffer a loss. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, according to Investopedia, fraud is an intentional deceptive action designed to provide the perpetrator with an unlawful gain or to deny a right to a victim. So before you can say there is a fraud, number one, it must be intentional. Then number two, you must be able to prove that the fraudster have enjoyed an illegal benefits and the victim has suffered a loss. That is very important when the case gets to court. Okay, according to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiner, fraud is a knowing misrepresentation of the truth or concealment of a material fact to induce another to act to his or her detriment. So, you deceive people to make a decision that will result to their loss because you have misguided them. That is fraud. According to dictionary.com, investigation is a systematic disorder as procedures. Minute, you cannot overlook any detail. And thorough attempts to learn the facts about something complex or hidden. So investigation, we are trying to uncover what the fraudster has covered up. In understanding fraud investigation, we must understand what creates fraud. And that is the triangle of fraud. Pressure. Because people who are under pressure, financial pressure, work pressure, there are chances that such a person will commit fraud. You have an employee that is addicted to drugs, addicted to gambling. Such people are prone to fraud. Number two, opportunity. When there are weaknesses in the organization that people can take advantage of. Poor supervision, weak leadership, weak internal controls, inadequate reviews and checks, and so on. All these will create opportunity for people to take advantage. Rationalization. This is the fraudster convincing himself or herself that he or she has not done anything wrong. So justifying the acts. Oh, they did not pay me well. I am only making up for the amount by which I was shortchanged. That is rationalization. Rationalizing, justifying the fraudulent act. Common corporate fraud, contract splitting. Breaking contracts into parts so that it can be off management rather. Inflation of expenses. Bought it at 10,000, we record it at 100,000. Payments to non-existing contractors and vendors. Cash investment. Stealing of assets, corporate assets. Financing personal expenses with business funds. Payroll fraud. Payment to ghost workers, payment for overtime for work not done. All these are corporate frauds. Fraudulent financial reporting. Revenue cooked, expenses understated, assets overstated, bribery and corruption, tax fraud, cyber fraud, money laundering, washing dirty money, investment scams, insurance fraud. All these are common white collar fraud in our society. Why do we do fraud investigation? What are our objectives? We want to identify improper conduct in the organization. We want to know who are the people responsible for the improper conduct. We want to know the extent of losses. What have we suffered because of those acts? We want to prevent future fraud or future corporate losses. We want to recover the amounts that have been stolen by the fraudster. We want to mitigate other potential consequences. We want to strengthen our internal control so that we don't have a relapse. We want to send a message to everybody in the organization that management will not tolerate fraud. Then, fraud investigation might be necessary as a legal or regulatory requirement. Principles of fraud investigation. Always assume that there will be prosecution. The case will get to court. So you must preserve your evidence. That's what we call chain of custody. You must approach with two perspectives. Fraud may have occurred, fraud may not have occurred. So you don't assume because there is a suspicion of fraud does not mean that there is fraud unless you are able to prove it. Recently, there was a news in America of a man that was executed for a murder he didn't commit. Recent DNA tests now show that he was not the one that committed the murder. An aggressive prosecutor has unjustly murdered the man within the justice system. Move from general to specifics. The interesting thing about fraud investigation is you will start from A. Before you know it, you are Z. You will start with a suspect. Before you know it, you have ended up with 15 suspects. You will start the fraud committed in 2021. Before you know it, the fraud is going back to 2005, 2006. So you keep moving with every new information. Avoid alerting suspected fraudsters. So confidentiality. You need to move in silence as much as possible and guard case information. What are the procedures for fraud investigation? You can inspect tangible assets. You want to see the car. You want to see the house. You want to review accounting records. You want to cite invoices, source documents, receipts, title deeds. You can observe. Watch a procedure. Watch how they give returns, how they pay wages. You can review CCTV recordings of the events so that you'll be able to gather forensic evidence. You can do interviews. You can make inquiry of people that are knowledgeable about the matter. You can also use external confirmation, which we also call circularization. So write the bankers, write the customers. So write independent people outside the organization to get information to support the information you have gathered within the organization. You can recalculate the schedule that they gave to you to know whether it is in order or not. You can perform what they've done. They've done back reconciliation statement to redo your own. All right? They've done age analysis of trade receivables. Redo your own and compare with what they've done. And very importantly, you can use analytical procedures. Analytical procedure is simply trend analysis. What were the figures in 2020? What were the figures in 2019? Are they consistent with one another? Or there is a serious deviation that can flag that something is wrong? And if there's a flag, you must investigate the flag. So basically, this is an introduction to corporate fraud investigation. There are other procedures, especially digital procedures, that involve the use of computer tools. So in subsequent videos, I will be talking on digital forensics, specifically using IT resources to investigate online frauds. So I'm going to close at this point. So remember the key points I have discovered, I've explained in this online class. I've explained what fraud is. I've explained the type of fraud that we have, and I've also explained the procedure that the forensic investigator can use in fraud investigation. Thank you.